Danny Laurel. This is One News Now. Filipino domestic workers in Hong Kong will be getting a monthly salary hike equivalent to 750 pesos. Migrant Workers Chief Susan Oples said the pay hike took effect this month. That's after a 2-year wage freeze due to the pandemic. Now with this, Filipino domestic helpers in the territory will get a basic monthly pay of around 35,000 pesos. The Hong Kong government said it is also raising the minimum wage and food allowance for foreign domestic workers. Now, inflation hit a 4-year high in September at 6.9%, putting more stress on consumers' wallets. Shaila Francisco with this story.
After earning 1,200 pesos from an 8-hour shift, this is what's left from Ramil's income after spending on food and gasoline as a taxi driver. He says he isn't able to save up due to high prices of commodities and education costs for his 2 children.
Kahit anong sigurong sipag, hindi na obra. Kasi sa taas ng bilhin, wala na po, hindi na makakaipon. Gusto ko nga sanang may pag-ipon, maghulog sana ako ng isang daan bawat araw, pero hindi ko na nahulugan.
In September, inflation rose to 6.9%, the highest since September to October of 2018. Apart from higher commodity prices, the Philippine peso also continues to depreciate.
Binibili natin yun sa US dollar. So yung pump prices, gasoline and diesel, ito ay unang napektuhan, plus of course magkakaroon ito ng impact sa transport. Nakikita rin namin na nagkakaroon sila ng mga spillover effects sa iba pang mga subgroups, particular nga yung pagkain.
Economists say inflation could still go higher above 7% in the next 2 months, as the impact of Super Typhoon Karding and fare hikes were not yet factored in.
Yun yung medyo masaklap dun. Hindi lang siya price shock, kumbaga medyo matagal na siyang nandito. So aside from mataas na po yung presyo na let's say ng pump prices, kumbaga nahawa na ang ibang produkto. Kung ganun po, usually nangyayari, mabagal po yung pagbaba ng inflation eventually.
Due to rising inflation, some Filipinos have started spending part of their savings.
Kasi nga walang trabaho. So bumababa ng savings. And now we run into high inflation. It's going to be a very challenging time for the economy. As consumers as well, we can look for other avenues to cut back and then maybe save for a rainy day. And ito na talaga ang pinaka-rainy day siguro.
Despite this, financial advocates say it is still possible to save up even with the Christmas fast approaching. For one, plan trips and walk to your destinations if possible to save up on fuel. You can also try to limit eating out and instead eat at home more often. Another advice is to opt for cheaper substitutes and groceries and other expenses.
It will go a long way for any individual. Kailangan mag-konting belt tightening. It's really a discipline of making the right choices of spending. So you just need to differentiate between needs and wants. Kailangan talagang may determination ka para ma-ensure mo na makakapag-save ka.
But for those who are still tight on budget despite tightening their belts, financial advocates advise to look for more sources of income. Shaila Francisco, we are One News.
Now, central banks around the world are raising interest rates as inflation continues to plague economies. More details in this report from Bloomberg.
An interest rate is what it costs to borrow money. It's the amount you're charged to take out a loan. But when we talk about central banks, the concept becomes much more important. It's something that influences all interest rates and in itself the global economy. So an interest rate for a central bank, it more or less is the rate that they charge a commercial bank to borrow money. So let's say the Bank of England lowers interest rates. It means all of a sudden it's cheaper for Barclays to borrow money. It's saving there, it passes those savings on to consumers. So all of a sudden it's cheaper for you to take out an auto loan, or your mortgage is now cheaper as well. It encourages people to borrow more money and spend more money, and in turn it stimulates the economy. But let's say the opposite is happening. Prices are too high. Inflation is moving higher as it is now. The Bank of England and other central banks, they'll want to get spending lower so prices stop rising. So they'll hike interest rates. It means borrowing's more expensive. People spend less money, and instead they'll want to save and are rewarded to save more money. The hope is that by doing this, central banks can keep prices and the global economy in check.
More stories after this short break. Stay with us. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Dani Laurel. Police have obtained a dashcam video on the murder of broadcaster Percy Lapid. The video caught Lapid being shot in his car by two suspects in Las Piñas on Monday. The riding in tandem quickly took a U-turn to flee the area. Now, aside from this, several other CCTV footage were also retrieved by the police. Meanwhile, Executive Secretary Lucas Bersamin attended Lapid's wake this morning and assured his family of assistance. Interior Secretary Benhur Abalos also offered a 500,000 peso bounty for information on the suspects. Now here's a quick look at today's other top stories. Unemployment slightly rose to 5.3% in August. It's up from 5.2% in July. This latest figure translates to around 2.68 million jobless Filipinos. The Taguig City Police has dismissed claims of unreported crimes in Bonifacio Global City. Authorities said these claims on social media are malicious and have not been verified. The Taguig City Police said they are in talks with establishments in the business district. And the OPEC and its allies have agreed to slash oil production by 2 million barrels per day due to market uncertainties. This is their biggest cut since the onset of the pandemic.
Everything has a price. And
For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World Online. Visit our website, that's onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account now. That's at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I'm Danny Laurel. We are One News.